Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this class. You may understand that ODA is the development cooperation works, but using the official budget or the hand of official branch of the government. Right. So today we will see the ODA issues and law. You may say that law is very monotonous thing and difficult things. Yeah, partially it's true. Many people feel that law is very tough to understand, and it is quite far from our life. But partially, it's not true. Law must be near to our lives. Of course, I don't want to say that it's easy to understand, but we have to know that. Right, so today we will see the ODA issues and law for today's course. Okay, as a part one, we will see the international law and the development issues. In the international societies, we need the law. Yes, to regulate, to control our societies, we need law. For the democracy of our societies, in the international communities, we need law. Yes, it is. But in the field of development area, as a part of international societies, development area is also needed the law. It's definitely true. Therefore, we can say that as one part of the international law, if a certain law regulate or related to the development area, then we can call that law as international development law. Yes. So, as a part one, we will see the basic concept of international law, and then we will make a link to the development issues. Okay, development issues and law. Development issue is to stimulate, to push developing world to do more for the people to take the better life. That is the development work. In the international societies, we have many development issues. So, MDG or SDG, in recent days, international societies, they are making a kind of standard. But, if international society wants to know that a certain development work is good, is it effective or not, to check, to regulate certain work, we need a kind of rules. Therefore, in the field of development work, we need rules. So, law is needed in the area of development. Right. Let's start from the very basic point. Let's imagine the one society. We are the members of the societies. We have to survive in the society. Therefore, we have to do something in our societies. Then, naturally, we have to do something in the society with someone. in our societies. In that case, sometimes our partners may make different opinions from me. It can be a kind of seed for the dispute, yeah, among the members in a society. However, yeah, we have to talk, or we have to take discussions, yeah, to overcome our differences of opinions. That is the social interaction in a society among the partners, of course, yes. So any kind of societies, we have to do those kind of steps, procedure to make progress. To do that, we have to keep our balance, even though our opinions are different, but we have to take a discussion, and we have to keep our stance, yeah. And then we can make common opinions, and we can make the progress from the different opinions. That is the social activities. But let's talk about the different issues. Even if we have different opinions on certain issues, we can overcome our differences of opinions based on the discussion and talk. Sometimes it can be a state of the dispute, but social life is, yeah, yeah, we can make progress from the social interaction. To do that, we need a kind of rules, not to do something, but to do something. So, to make our progress, we need a regulation. For regulations, yeah, we need rules. So we can make a kind of algorithm to avoid a serious dispute. We need a regulation and rules. To make a progress in our societies, we need a regulation and rules. To maintain our societies, we need regulations and rules. What is the progress? Yeah. The progress means the member of the society are making better policies and action under the policies. So policies, regulations, rules, and the progress, yeah, you can make the link for the better societies. Policy and law, yeah, we can maintain with these tools. So social actions, any kind of societies, any kind of social actions, yeah, we have to keep the rules. To do that, social actions, yeah, to that, the jobs, we have to understand our rules in our societies. Okay, let's see the drawings. We are in one society, then to make better our lives, we need the policies. Among the members, we need the promises, not to do something, but to do something. To check our promise and the policies, yeah, we need regulations and rules. To regulate, we need rules. Based on the policies and promise and the regulations and rules, the members of the society can do something, that is social action. So, from the policies, promises, regulations, and rules, and then social actions, we can make progress in our societies, and we can solve our problems in our societies. So, social actions and rules are related together, right? So, any kind of issues must be solved by our promise or regulations and the rules. Yeah. Finally, social actions of the members. To do that, we need a good policy. Okay, let's see the different rules in a stage. We are in a certain societies, yeah. Any kind of members of the societies, we need a rule, yes, of course, and then we can distinguish different types of societies. For example, international societies and the domestic society, yeah, we are different. I am one man, but in the same time, I am a member of a certain domestic society. For example, Korean society. I am the member of the Korean society. But at the same time, yeah, I am a member of international societies. Yes, it is. Therefore, a certain domestic societies level and the international societies level can be duplicated each other. But the thing is that domestic societies and international societies, they have different levels of rules. We know that international societies and domestic societies, we are different. And also, we have different regulation and rules. So, different stage of a society have different rules in a different social actions, right? So, for example, regarding the certain one issue, members of the society, even if the member can be duplicated, in a different level, we need different types of rules for that issue in the international societies and domestic national societies. Therefore, regarding one issue, based on the different societies, we can apply different rules with different level of stages of the societies. Right, let's see the development issues. Yes, I explained that a certain, we use the word, certain issue. But let's say that the certain issue is development issue. Development issues, is very important part of international societies. Yes, it is. So, international societies, we have many members regarding development issues. Donors and recipient. Sometimes we have to see the mediators between donors and recipient, We can call all of them as the participant in the development area. Even though we can distinguish them as the donors, recipient, or mediators, but all of them are participants in the development works. So the partners, the participant, we have to work together, comparing or sharing our opinions and knowledges and information and budget. So regarding a certain development issue, the participant, we will do social interactions in an international society. Regarding that, we need international law to keep our balance, to keep our order, to keep our societies. Even though they have their different opinions on the certain issues, we have to keep our balance to understand other people's, other participant opinions, to reveal our opinions to their other participants. To keep the balance, we need international law. Yes. So, for the good policies or the interactions of the participants in the international development area, we need certain types of international law. Yes, it is. There is international development law. Let's see another level. Even if the development work is the international issues, but sometimes you can see that actions as the domestic level. For example, Korean government is working for the other country. That is the development actions in the international societies. So we need international development law. Okay. But the thing is that these international works can be evaluated, can be seen as the domestic works, because if the Korean government wants to help the other countries in the international societies, at least as the first level, Korean government have to use the Korean government budget, which came from the tax from Korean citizens. In that point of view, Korean government have to keep the domestic regulation regarding the using of budget, official budget, or the tax in the Korean societies. So regarding the tax or budget of the Korean government, in the Korean societies, we have domestic laws. So using the budget and tax, if the Korean government wants to help other countries, we have to see the Korean domestic law regarding development work. In that area, we need many kind of rules for the development of work of Korea. We can call that domestic law area as Korean development law. That is national development law area. Okay, so we can divide it two different stages, international level and national level. Development issues, even if it is one issue, it can be related to the international societies and also at the same time domestic law level. So one one development work can be related to the sometimes international development law and sometimes national, domestic development law. Development issues and law, yes, we can divide it, distinguish two sections: international development law and national domestic development law. Okay? Yeah. This is the quite important things for us to understand the further area of the development law. Okay, let's talk about a bit more details of international law. Well, in international societies, we have many kind of issues: traditional and culture, human rights, climate changes, environmental issues, food and agriculture, trade and economy. These things are very serious point in our international societies. Many member countries in the international societies, they are trying to do something for making the solution on a certain international issues. Among the issues, let's talk about the poverty and aid. Poverty and aid, this is a serious issues as well. Many countries are doing to reduce the poverty in the certain areas. Mainly, it is related to the developing country. Developing countries wants to do, the government of developing country wants to do something to reduce the poverty. However, it cannot be served. These issues, these problems cannot be served by the developing countries itself 100% power. Therefore, we need aid, assistance from developed world or international societies. So, with the help or assistance from developed country or international societies, developing country or the government of the country can do something for the poverty reduction. It can be related to the human rights issues. It can be related to the peace and war in the international societies. So, these different issues can be related together. To reduce the poverty, sometimes we need the technology in the agriculture. Agricultural issues can be related to the economy and industry. It can be related to the trade issues, yes. And also agricultural issues can be related to the climate change issues and environment issues. So the issues are tangled together, worked together, linked together. So one issue is not just one issue. It can be related to the other areas and issues. Another point is that to solve these issues, or certain issues, or the issues and the other related issues, we need regulation and law. That is international law area. Yes. So regarding the many types of the issues, yes, the international law have different dimensions. Considering the issues, different issues, we can name as the sub or area of international law. For example, international economic law, international trade law, international labor law, international law for human rights issues. And if a certain international law is related to the development and aid issues, then we can call that law as the international law for aid and development, or it is international development law. So international law for the development area is a sub-area of whole international law. But the thing is that, again, we have to remember that a certain sub-area of international law can be related to the other sub-area of international law. For example, international development law must be related to the international economic law. Yeah, definitely yes. And these international economic law regarding development issues can be related to the international environment law. So, like international development issues and the other related area, international law area are related together. So please remember this point. Let's see the role of international law. Regarding the certain issues, international law can cover each different issues. But we already know that the issues and the laws are related together. To regulate, to govern the international issues, we need international social activity or international social interactions. Who will do that activity or interaction? In international societies, normally states, countries, or institution, that is international organization. So they can be a subject of international law or international social activities, right? They can use the international law for the certain international issues. Which issues? Various types of international issues, such as use of sea, armed forces, international communication, and trade policy issues, or transfer of money in international societies. Protection of environment can be related to the environmental law. And then lastly, development area as well. So international development law is for the settlement of dispute in the international development area, right? The role of international law or the role of certain sub-area of international law can be related to that issues and the society and the subject of the activities or the international law. To regulate international issues, we need subject and law. Subject can use the law to cover the problems and issues. Okay? Please understand our logic. I'm sure that you can understand it. Okay. now we will see the main sources of the international law. In international societies, we have many international law, yes, but what types of international law we have? When we call a certain law as the international law, that law must have some kind of shape. Which shape? Then we can use the word source of international law. So the meaning of the source of international law is the shape of the law. We know that many cases of international law is the shape is treaties or agreement or convention. It's quite simple and clear. Article number 1, article number 2, the document. That is, normally we can call that shape as international treaties or international agreement. But do you think it is only one shape in the international law? No. There are so many types of shape or sources of international law. For example, resolution of international organization. For example, United Nations, they may make some kind of resolution for the certain issues. If they agree to do something, they will make a kind of resolution. We, the members of United Nations, we will do that from now on. That is resolution. So resolution can be a kind of international law. Yes, it is. Sometimes customs in the international societies can be a source of international law. General principle of law, yeah, of course, can be the source of international law. Judicial decisions. For example, a certain international court decided something, then it may make huge influence to the future cases. So it can be a source of international law. Writings of specialists, for example, like me, if I make the books or articles, and then books and articles, if I insist something, that opinions can be used as the certain logics for the solution of the international issue. Then, in that case, we can call that opinion or writing in a books or articles, as the source of international law. Okay, let's see a different dimension. International law for the international societies, and the domestic law for the domestic societies. But let's talk about the relationship between international law and the national law, domestic law. Do you think international law may make influence to your national law? Yes, it is. First of all, let's talk about the different societies. If international society decides something, then it can make the influence to the member state of the society. So that means domestic society can be related to the international societies. Of course, yes, it is. So the decision of international societies can be related to their international law. So if a certain international society have the international law regarding certain issues, then it can be related to their domestic or national law in a member state. How can we say that the influences from international law to the national law? For example, country A joined the international treaties, for example. Then the country, the state, must have the burden or obligation to do the promise in that international law. That means the country, the government of the state have to do something inside of their domestic societies. To do that, they need domestic and national law. Yet, therefore, we can say that, totally speaking, if the country joined to the international law, then the international law can be transited, interpreted into their international law. So international issues can be changed as the shape of national law, national issues. Regarding the national issues, which was originally came from international issues, those members of the domestic societies can reveal their opinions. The opinions can be collected or processed in the societies, and then it can be used for making the domestic rules regarding that issues, which is originated from international issues. That means domestic rules can be made for the international issues, which is equally domestic issues as well. That means international law, they can be applied for the domestic issues with the changes of the shape or source of the law. Got it? Yeah. So different stage, international stage and the domestic stage, national stage, the law of international societies and the national societies, it can be changeable. Of course, the content of international law can be kept, used in the national law altogether at the same time. But the shape is changed. Okay? Yeah. So please remember that international stage and national stage, they can be used different types of law, but international law can make impact or influence to the international domestic law, national law, and the national stage and national societies as well. Okay, again, if the international issues or the international law is related to their ODA action, ODA activity, then we can change the word. In international societies, we need ODA policies, ODA promises among the members of the societies. We need ODA laws, and based on the ODA laws, to do our policy, to keep our ODA promises, we have to do ODA activities in our societies, in international societies or in national societies. So, conclusively speaking, ODA actions can be related to their ODA laws in an international level or national level. So ODA policies, promises, laws, and actions are related together, right? Okay, let's see the details of ODA international law. ODA is governmental actions using public money. It can be related to their international policies, international economies, international social activities. So it is international issues, and to solve the problems, we need international ODA law. The law is, the international ODA law is the laws for the regulation of governmental actions in the international society. Right? Yes. But this international ODA law may make influence to their national society, such as Korea. Korean government, they will do the ODA works in the international societies, following international ODA laws. And also, when they use the Korean domestic budget, public money from the tax from Korean citizens, then they also have to keep their Korean domestic ODA laws. Okay? So, ODA works and international laws and domestic laws are linked together. Okay, let's see the international development law. Regarding ODA works, regulations of government and organizations must follow keep these rules. That is international law and regarding development issues. So we can call that area as international development law. Many international organizations or member states of the organizations must keep the rule, the international law. We can use this law for the state or international organizations regarding the development issues. These international development law can make influence to the certain domestic law of member states of the organizations and international societies. Okay? So we have to think about the relationship between international development law and the international societies and also domestic societies as well. Okay, guys, this is the end of part 1. Please think about the relationship between international development law and domestic development law and ODA activities in the international societies and ODA activities in the domestic societies. Okay? Yeah. Okay, guys, you have a good break? Yes. Let's start the part 2 of this lecture. Now, in part 2, we will see the some international organization or the bodies in the international organization. As the example of these things, we will see the United Nations. In the big picture of United Nations, in the whole structure of United Nations, we have very, very many yeah, branches or the some kind of agencies in the structure. So in part 2, we will see the bodies in the United Nations regarding the development issues. These examples can be also true in the other international organizations. So it is just the example of our study. Okay, let's see examples of international organizations in regarding the development issues. Yeah, as a branch of United Nations, UNDP, it is a kind of symbol of development issues. In UNESCO and UNCTAD, they are or the sub bodies under the umbrella of United Nations. The WTO systems also related to the development issues. OECD and the World Bank Group or other multinational development banks are also are working for the development issues. So, from these many examples, we will focus on the United Nations. All right, let's focus on the United Nations. I said that United Nations are working for the many types of development issues. Yeah. But we know that they must keep the United Nations rules. So, regarding the bodies of United Nations regarding the development issues, yeah, they must keep the whole structure of United Nations, and also they must keep the rules of United Nations and development law as well. So from now, we will see the bodies of United Nations regarding development issues and also their legal basis as well. Okay, United Nations. After the Second World War, United Nations, they founded for the reconstruction of the international societies, to keep the peace of international societies, and also to change our international societies. United Nations established in 1945. Nowadays, nearly 200 members, United Nations became the symbol of international organization. They have many kind of bodies under the structure of United Nations, under the name of United Nations, such as General Assembly, Security Council, and the many other bodies. The main purpose is quite simple: for the peace of the human mankind, and the economic balance of the international societies, and then reconstruction of our lives, for the better life, for the happier life of the people. It is a kind of terminal for the international societies. Yes, it is. And also, they are doing so many kind of jobs for the international societies. Okay, let's see the legal basis of United Nations regarding development issues. Yes, United Nations have many international law. Yes. From the United Nations establishment rules, and also many detailed laws for the certain agencies and bodies under the UN structure. Especially the the United Nations Charter provide the fundamental basis for the development issue. For example, Chapter 9 and Chapter 10 provide the development issues and the works of United Nations. For example, Chapter 9, which is the Article 55 to 60, the provisions provide the international economic and social cooperation. And they said that it is the main purposes or directions of United Nations. And Chapter 10, which is Article 61 to 72, they, especially provided the detailed regulations on the ECOSOC, which is the Economic and Social Council. These provisions provide the main framework of the establishment and the management of the ECOSOC. ECOSOC is one of the main bodies of the United Nations regarding the field of economy and social life of people. So let's see the chapters of United Nations Charter regarding the development issues, right? Then we will see the details of the regulations, and then you can understand what is the main function of United Nations regarding development issues, and also what is the major international organizations of the regarding the development area. Okay, let's see the Chapter 9 of the United Nations Charter. Regarding international economic and social cooperation, Article 55 provides the details with a view to the creation of conditions of stability and well-being of people, which is necessary for the peaceful and friendly relations among the countries, based on the respect of the principle of equal rights and self-determination of the people. The United Nations must do something to promote something. A higher standard of living, full employment, and conditions of economic and social progress and development. So, we can say that it is the directions of works of United Nations. B, solutions of international economic and social and health and related problems, and international cultural educational cooperation. C, universal respect for and the observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, and languages or religion. To make the equality in the international societies, we have to do something by the hand of United Nations. So when we see the A, B, C, we can roughly understand that what should be the works of United Nations for the people and the state of the United Nations, for the better life, for the peace of international societies. And then Article 56 provides another point. All members pledge themselves to take joint and separate action in cooperation with organization. Organization means, United Nations for the achievement of purposes of Article 55. So Article 55 provides the directions or final destination of the United Nations. Then Article 56, provided that all members must do for the direction and final goals. Let's see here Article 57 and 58. And then the United Nations must have special bodies regarding the jobs. The various specialized agencies, that is the sub-bodies under the structure of United Nations, must be established by the intergovernmental agreement and having wide international responsibilities, for the goals. And those kind of agencies and the bodies, sub-bodies of United Nations must do something, with the other bodies of United Nations. The United Nations sub-bodies must do their jobs under the control of whole United Nations and the rules of United Nations. The United Nations also have to make their own voice to the sub-bodies, the agencies, to do something for the whole big picture. So it can be a kind of how can I say? It's the good regulation area. Article 57, Article 58 provide this point. Let's see Article 59 and 60. Organization, that means United Nations, initiate negotiations among the states concerned for the creation of any new specialized agency. So, United Nations will establish more agencies or sub-bodies for the future steps of for the goals. Article 60, responsibility for the discharge of functions of the organization, the fourth in this chapter, shall be vested in the General Assembly and under the authority of General Assembly, in the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, shall have for this purpose the powers set forth in chapter 10. So, in the chapter 9, whole of chapter 9 provides that mainstream of their work for the development issues and economic and social issues, they call that. And then United Nations may have the sub-bodies, they call the agencies, for the detailed jobs, detailed actions for the main goals. And then those kind of United Nations sub-bodies and agencies and the relationship with the main United Nations structure can be balanced or regulated by the provisions in chapter 10. Okay? Then we have to see the main content of the chapter 10 of the United Nations Charter. The chapter 10 provides the details on the ECOSOC, the Economic and Social Council, right? The Economic and Social Council is the main body to control the domestic development work by the sub bodies of the United Nations. So we can call that ECOSOC is a kind of a main control tower of the development work in the United Nations systems. Chapter 10, Article 61 provides that, consisting of 44 members of United Nations elected by General Assembly with one representative, the Economic and Social Council. So ECOSOC can be made by the 44 members of United Nations, right? And then Article 62 provides the main functions of ECOSOC. Yeah, they have to improve the economic and social issues in the United Nations system. Yeah, and they have to control many the sub bodies, and they may make the opinions on the United Nations stages regarding that issues. Yeah, they can make the forum, the international conferences. Yeah, to share their opinions and knowledge and information with who members and the sub-bodies of United Nations regarding the issues. Okay, Article 63 to 66 provides that the powers of ECOSOC as the control tower of United Nations regarding development job, they must have their big power. Article 67 provides the voting system in the ECOSOC, yes. And then Article 67 to 72, they provided the procedure of their work. Article 72, they provide their self-governance, yeah, to make the transparent work of the ECOSOC, right? Okay, if the ECOSOC is the main control tower of United Nations regarding development work, then, yeah, under the control of ECOSOC, United Nations have many sub-bodies. Sometimes you can call the bodies as the agencies, but not always. So let's talk about the sub-bodies in the United Nations regarding development work. Okay, ECOSOC is the main control tower. We have already known that the main function of ECOSOC and the legal basis, yeah, is Chapter 10 of United Nations Charter. Of course, Chapter 9, they provided the mainstream of the work of development. And then the last stage of the Chapter 9, they said that for that purpose, United Nations will have the ECOSOC, yeah, the Economic and Social Council, as their main control tower. And then the detail of their works be provided by the Chapter 10 of United Nations Charter, right? Let's see some different examples of the bodies of the United Nations systems under the umbrella of ECOSOC. All right. So big umbrella is United Nations system, and then regarding the development work, yeah, the ECOSOC is the main control tower. Under the control of the ECOSOC, yeah, they have many sub-bodies, such as UNDP, UNESCO, and UNCTAD. So let's see the details of the sub-bodies of these the sub-bodies under the ECOSOC. Okay, United Nations Development Program, which is the UNDP. It is a U.S. global network on development issues. Under the control of the ECOSOC, the UNDP, they are doing various types of development work. Yeah. It is the center point of the UN bodies to reduce global poverty. So their main functions are related to the reduction of poverty. Yeah, reduction of poverty is the one of the main theme for the SDG and MDGs. Yeah, and then I believe that the poverty reduction is the fundamental things for the whole development jobs. There are issues, therefore, related to the poverty reduction and democratic governance and the crisis prevention and recovery and the other things. So from the poverty reductions, they will do more related works. So UNDP, it is one of the major global networks under the umbrella of ECOSOC and United Nations systems for regarding development issues. UNDP has their own legal basis. United Nations Charter 10, Chapter 10, they provided that ECOSOC can have their sub-body under their control, the sub-body for the detailed works. Therefore, Chapter 10 can be a part of their legal basis of foundation. And then we can say that many other legal bases, such as resolution of the 2029 of General Assembly in 1965, in 1965, General Assembly made a resolution to make UNDP. So UNDP was founded based on this resolution, as the major agencies or the sub-bodies under the umbrella of ECOSOC. Many other resolutions can make the details on the UNDP. For example, resolution 2688 of General Assembly, they made the details on the organization and the operation of UNDP work. Okay? UNESCO, you are very quite familiar with this word, UNESCO. And UNESCO is one of the major sub-bodies under the umbrella of ECOSOC and the United Nations system. Their major theme of the work is related to their education and the science and culture. So when they work with the partners or in the international societies regarding development work, their major work are related to their education, science, and culture. So UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations, they were founded to create the conditions for dialogue among the people, cultures, and countries, yeah, to share their values. In the area of education, science, and culture. UNESCO, they make many kind of future visions for the people and the country member state and the whole United Nations. So UNESCO, their works are more future oriented, but they also have to care about their recent work. Their objectives are here: attaining quality education for all and lifelong learning, mobilizing science knowledge, sharing the science knowledge with many people all over the world. It can be related to their sustainable development, addressing emerging social, ethical challenges, fostering cultural diversity, intercultural dialogue, interaction of, for the cultural diversity, and building inclusive knowledge society through the information and communication. So their major activities are related to their education, science, and culture, right? Okay, UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Okay, you may say that to improve their economy in the developing countries, trade is very important thing. So United Nations trying to make a relationship, direct relationship with trade and development. So to promote the development-friendly integration of developing country into the world economy, they established the UNCTAD, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. So UNCTAD, they stimulate the member state, especially developing country, to help themselves, to join to the mainstream of international trade. So they persuade the developing country to participate the mainstream of international trade order. And also they support the developing country to do the trade work in the international societies. Basically, it is conference. It is a forum to share their knowledge and information, to talk about future trade issues, focusing on the developing countries, right? And they make many kind of report, analysis, research, and the data for the developing countries. And also, they provide technical assistance, for the developing country to do more trade work for their economic development. So, in the United Nations system, they established the ECOSOC for their better economy, better social life of whole people in the all of the world. And then the ECOSOC controls many sub-bodies under the United Nations structure, such as UNDP, UNESCO, and UNCTAD, for the development issues, right? You may understand a structure of United Nations regarding development work, okay? And also, please remember that the very basic fundamental law for their establishment or their maintenance or the functions of the sub-bodies and ECOSOC and United Nations system regarding development issues. Okay, this is the end of part 2. I hope to see you next lecture. Goodbye.